What's up, YouTubes? Time for recap. So last night we had some decent little play setups. We're watching for fails under 20,000. So I wanted to see the shorts kind of break 20,000 on NQ last night, pop back up, kind of burn the chasers, and then head back down. And I wanted to see 19,997 for fails, as it says here. And then we slipped 20K, broke right back up. That was the entry we were looking for. No day trades for the rest of the time. We just had the one entry. Didn't want to trade anything else besides that. I hopped off. My fishing orders filled at 1997, what we look for, so it must have popped back up. Sure enough, as you see right here on the trade, we ended up getting a payout on this account, which was cool this morning, 1,500 bucks, and then ended up making 2,800 bucks on this short side move. So that was a pretty awesome surprise. The other accounts did pretty good today, and the expresses 800, 700, 500, 500. So those are getting ready for payouts in a couple days here too. We should have another 7 grand coming for the week. So let's talk about that NQ trade and what we did this morning. So 20,000 on that little break back up. That was the interesting kind of open and little area that we had seen pop and break back. So 20,000 is right here. And what I want to see is like that leak down on 20K, break, and then a snap back up to kind of fill that and then head down. One of the biggest takeaways here from the 5-minute chart I was checking out as well, I want to show you guys is the 100 EMA shies. So when something opens up kind of low and not a lot of follow through volume, even for NQ, this is some very small action at the open on NQ last night. So we were really banking on that 20K failure. Well, we lost the 50 fib and down to the 19,951. That was all for the 20K loss. So notice right here on that 5-minute chart, here's that. Oh no, there was. Bam. Okay, we're back. We had that nasty little $20,000 breakdown and then pop back into it. But one of the big things that helped us at the short was the shies, right? When something kind of pops back up and shies it where price action gets close to an action like a VWAP or a moving average or anything like that, we look for it to continue. And that thesis actually brought us into all of today's trades from that short. If you notice here on the NQ, every time price action came very close to that 5-minute 100 EMA in the green, we ended up shying and we did not come and actually tag. So that was one of the biggest magnets I posted in my Discord today. I said, okay, guys, watch for that long back into the 100 EMA. And we finally got it here. And luckily enough, we actually knew exactly where to look for it. And that was the QQQ and SPY's daily gap, right? So, oh, we got a finder here. I wonder, not on the YouTube top. Oh, gap top is labeled right here. That's why. Okay, so we have gap top 480.78, gap bottom. So this whole thing was the daily gap on the QQQ. Of course, SPY had one too. And here's that 100 EMA shy. Of course, that did happen on the QQQ from the back test yesterday. We snapped through the 100 EMA at the end of the day, never came back and retested it, same as SPY. So that magnet, we needed a reason to come up. It popped up, shied the 100 EMA. Now we got to keep that in mind. Shine the 100 EMA again at the open. Push came down and it wanted to deeper go into the gap. Well, one thing I know about gaps is more often than not on the daily chart, just more often than not, it's not 100% like anything in the market, but more often than not, if you have a daily gap that is unfilled like this, the first time price action pushes into that, a lot of the time it reverses. It never goes for the first fill. Now, of course, there's instances where price action would come down and fill that daily gap first try, data, speed, some kind of Trump tweet, something else. Outside of this, usually it does not fill. So we had a regular day, no data, no PMI, no crazy Trump stuff. We had a little bit there. But that's what we were looking for, to price action to push into that daily gap and then pop back up. Let's try to find it on the SPY here as well. SPY U is not the ticket we're looking for. There we go. So we have it labeled a little bit better on SPY because SPY was the bigger player today. So again, let's go over it. Here's the gap. Here's the daily gap right here, big old gray channel. And of course, I had some fish for longs if we would have filled that, T1 short if we would have came down to the 1618. But our over under, which was our biggest play, was 558.62. We started under that. So I figured we'd have a magnet right to the gold level. So the first trade of the day, price action, was pushing into that gap and then up to the gold level. This was our first trade. Let's delete this one so it looks a little cleaner. So 1618 daily fib was from yesterday's high low. So every day I take yesterday's high, yesterday's low. I point the fib extension to wherever the opening price action is. So obviously today we had to point that Fibonacci extension to the downside. Let me back up, make sure it looks all right for you guys. So yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, pointed the extension to the downside. Now notice at the open here, we had that push down all after hours, all pre-market down to that gap. That was one of the really big precursors for the trade because we needed to push into that gap deeply and not fill and scam up. And that was one of our huge long plays for the day. But the early morning one, noticed we had no 1618. So again, the gold is from yesterday's high low. The extension was never tagged live. So pre-market, we came down, 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 opened up, hit the gap. And I said, well, I'm going to go long at least to regular VWAP, which is in the purple, the 100 EMA, and of course the gold. So right out of the gate, we had a decent little trade to the upside of about 7.5, 8 points. Pretty good. She came up, did a rejection, came down into the gap. And this is where we got a little jazzy in our Discord on the live stream, because we were like, man, I don't think this is going to fill anymore with this higher low. If it pops, we got to go long to GP and after over under. So our bias here, as you see, I like to draw these biases, and if we got over 55862, that long bias could take us all the way to yesterday's lows with multiple targets obviously in the way on the way there. So as you see here on the way up, we had a really, really good push to the prior golden pocket that was not tagged. So this is where it gets a little interesting, because we had multiple GPs, golden pockets, that were not tagged, right? So if we look right here, 5-1, that was a no tag. That made it really good magnet for a long, right? So if you notice, we opened obviously way down here, and the 50 tag was not done right here on SPY at all, nothing. So this day right here, 5-1, needed the GP tag. So that is what I call a magnet. So a lot of the times we need a reason to come back to the magnet. Today, it was the no daily gap fill close. So we came down into that gap, again, pushed, and then right to that golden pocket. That was most of the trade day that I wanted to look for a later on trade short. I don't know what happened here. I wasn't here for this data piece. Maybe that was a Trump tweet or something, but that was a very rude candle, because we actually had some short targets where after it nailed up here near the top of the golden pocket, I wanted everybody to watch short back down to VWAP here and right down to 559.88. But that was gnarly, because that popped up to our over under level from yesterday's trade day, 563. So that was my base long case for yesterday. If you watch that video, I wanted to hold the long anything above 563 because I knew it was a massive level. We had a really good time with that level yesterday, and it actually came all the way back there today. Then of course, signaling farther to the downside. Now, we can we're gonna get the Powell man tomorrow, and we're gonna have to focus on that, so we don't have any major predictions today. But the Powell man talking tomorrow makes for a pretty boring after hours, pretty boring pre-market. We can get some jam tomorrow after the candles are made. Hopefully I can get this one on the live, and that's all pending on the time of which our my kiddos come out of the school, and if I get to go pick them up, which is more fun than trading to me. So we'll get that on tomorrow. One thing I do want you guys to keep in mind is this last no GP 15. If you guys are going to be trading after hours, see this last candle right here? We failed exactly at the no tag 50 that we were planning to go long into today, into that peach colored GP. We left a no tag 15. So if you guys want to play the open, I'll give you guys a little open trade here. I would be watching that guy right there, because of course ES is going to mimic that SPY candle, and we're going to have a no golden pocket tag. Let's delete this. So if I was playing this open here, I would pay attention to these 15s. One right here, it's a very large no GP. And notice this candle is very associated with 100 EMA, VWAP, and 10 SMA. That means that the Fibonacci you draw here and the candle you draw for, or the Fibonacci you draw on the candle for what you pick here is very important, because the candle is hitting those levels. It's hitting the 10 SMA, it's hitting the 100 EMA, it's hitting VWAP, and that means that's a special candle. So when it moves into like a 5-minute chart here as well, notice one thing of that 15, okay? We're on the 5-minute chart. I like to draw fibs from the 15, go to the 5. And if you hold around 5,600 here, you're going to get a potential long kind of back up towards that GP, hopefully before you fail, because we didn't get my 5,600 short target today. So I wanted to see clean to the downside. We're very close. We shied it. Okay, so very close to 5,600. So I'm hoping you guys can find a temporary support around 5,600, slam back up about 37 points into this 15-minute GP. Of course, you can see 2 5-minute candles inside that GP that also need golden pocket tags. So we could get a little magnet off that 5,600, and I would be looking for that at least for the open. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to catch us do a live stream, the link is in the description. You can come hang out with us in a talented community that is full of amazing options traders, of anchor VWAP traders, Fibonacci traders, and just overall amazing people. If you want to win one of those top step accounts, we have it coming up, $100 giveaway every single Saturday during our live class. All you got to do is leave a comment on any one of the videos this week. You will be entered in. I will pick a random video from this week and give away that cash. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.